Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to be taking you through a super simple and straightforward metal stamping tutorial. We're going to be going through the basics that you need to get started, as well as the techniques you will be applying during the process, and also different types of products that you can create using metal stamps, and let's just get right into it. So the first thing you're going to need is metal blanks. These you can get at Michael's. They come in a bunch of different shapes and sizes. The ones here are a little bit thinner than I would typically use, but they are good enough for what we will be doing today. The next thing you're going to need are your stamps. These ones are also from Michael's. Pretty much everything in this tutorial is from Michael's, and these are the pet set. What I really like about this brand is they put the line on the front of the stamp, and that's just going to show you which way points towards you when you're stamping, and it makes it super easy for beginners. The next thing you're going to need is the enamel pen. This is Impress Art. It's in black. It's an acrylic paint marker, which is water-based, and it works perfectly for what we're going to be doing. And then to wipe that away, we're just going to be using a piece of fabric. It doesn't really matter what type of fabric it is. And of course you're going to need something to stamp on. I do recommend getting a stamping block because it is going to keep consistency on your projects. And then you're going to need the hammer. This is a special weighted hammer with a brass tip, and I do not recommend using a regular hardware hammer. It just won't work the same. Here we just have a few more things that are helpful for metal stamping. Of course, we have a full set of stamps, comes with the numbers and the letters. You do purchase them separately, but every single font does come with numbers as well. Next, we have masking tape. I will show you what this is for later. Then we have keychains. These are super affordable to buy off of Amazon. They do come in bulk, so they come in about a pack of 50, I believe, but they are super cheap and really good for projects. Next thing we have is jump rings. Here I just have two sizes. This is how you will be attaching your metal stamp to your project. You can get more durable ones than these, but for what I'm doing, I just use the craft ones. And then of course, if you want, you can add some cool beads. These ones are just iridescent stars, and then I have some wooden ones. These ones are my favorite. For the actual metal stamping, what we're going to do is place our blank onto our block, and this is where that masking tape is going to come in. So you're going to grab a piece and you're going to place it over your blank, and that's going to hold it in place, but it's also going to help you keep your font straight. So you're going to want to place that where you want the bottom of your top row to sit. Next, we're going to be using a pen or a marker and just placing a center line. This is super important for beginners because the easiest thing to mess up is having your fonts be all not centered and all messed up. So now when we start stamping, we're going to be working from the inside and then working our way out to the outside of the word. This is going to make it easier and keep it consistent. So I'm going to be placing my two letters on either side of the center line and working my way out. You're going to want to keep your hammering consistent and straight and make sure your stamp is level when you hammer it. So now we're going to be moving our tape down a row. This is something that's going to take time to get used to because you need to leave the same amount of gaps between each row, and honestly you can just eyeball it, but it will get easier over time. So I'm just going to do the second row. Here I'm just showing again that the font has a marker on the front that shows you which way to point towards yourself, making it super easy to do this. And I'm just going to continue on and finish off the row and then the rest of the stamp. And just one more thing I wanted to point out, letters like I's and L's are super thin and not level, so sometimes they are easier to stamp. And when that happens, you just want to make sure that you don't stamp as hard because the deeper the stamp goes, the easier it'll be able to see differences in consistency once you hit the ink on. So here we have the finished product before ink. It looks really good, and now we're just going to add some ink to it. So just take your tape off and grab your marker, and you're going to want to cover the entire project in the ink. Don't worry, it rubs away, so you don't have to worry about not trying to get it everywhere, just apply it over the entire project. It does not matter. And then all we're going to do is just wait a few minutes for this to completely dry, and then we're going to wipe it off. But don't leave it too long, just leave it for 2 or 3 minutes. So now we're just going to take a piece of scrap fabric and buff away the extra. Anything that isn't in the grooves that we put in there is just going to wipe right away. And this is why I recommend using the Impress Art marker, because if you do use a Sharpie, it is going to be significantly harder to buff away the excess. Here I just added a couple of holes because I'm going to be turning this into a rear view mirror charm for your car, and so I'm just going to be adding a little bit of accents to that. I'm going to put a couple of wood beads and a tassel on the bottom, and then a couple of wood beads on the top, and then to finish this off, I didn't show it, but what I do is just add a little bit of elastic cord from the craft store, and I just put it with it, and then whoever has it in their car can just tie it to their rearview mirror. So that was the finished product for that one, and I just wanted to show you what a keychain would look like because I did talk about it, so I'm just going to show you my dog mom keychain that I made a little bit ago. So here is that keychain. It's essentially the same premise, you're just going to be using different hardware, and that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I will be posting a few more tutorials for different types of crafts in the future, so look forward to that.